Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. And we've got a contestant on Clayton's season of The Bachelor, calling him out on TikTok. And boy, listen, if there was an award, like an Oscar for best YouTube thumbnails, I gotta be nominated, right, guys? I mean, if this isn't my Mona Lisa, I don't know what is. I've got the nail polish emoji. I've got these quotes. I put that there, some drop shadow. I mean, the A+, if I could just give myself the credit where it's due. All right, so we'll get into this story. I'm going to share what Lindsay said. She's the Bachelor's version of Jamie Lynn, you know, Britney Spears' younger sister. And just like Jamie Lynn, she's been voted out of the family. You watched last night's episode. And she's got tea to share, which, by the way, I have that. You know, I don't always do this, but when someone likes to dump some tea, you know me, we like to just back it up. Can we bring the tea back to the storage area? All right, we'll get into it.
Do you want a spot of tea?
I would love a spot of tea. Let's put some honey with my tea. So we'll get into that, and by all means, there's going to be a Patreon episode coming right after this at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. If you want to be a part of the community that watches me make these thumbnails as we listen to music and chat, if you're working from home or just bored at work and you want to be a part of that community, it's only $5 a month. You can join patreon.com/Dave Neal. I also have other content like this stand-up comedy clip from Saturday night at this outdoor comedy show that I posted, so you can see all of that, and we'll get into it. Are you guys ready to go? Let's play Lindsay's TikTok, and then I'll tell you if I think her TikTok is warranted as far as blasting Clayton goes.
So tonight on The Bachelor, I was sent home, but there's one thing that I wanted to address before I give my final goodbye. And that is this, Clayton's apology to Elizabeth that he posted on his Instagram stories a couple weeks ago. As you can see, he said that if he would have known what was going on, he would have sent Shanae home immediately. However, let me take you back to this night. After the Baywatch date, Clayton chose to spend our time asking me about the drama in the house.
By the way, I love that she's coming with graphics. She's like, all right, let's go back to this moment. You know, it's almost like she's in court for like a road traffic violation. You'll notice, sir, your honor, that the red camera lights were pointed in that direction. You know what I mean? All right.
And why Shanae felt so bullied in the mansion. And I explained to him, word for word, that I would never want anyone to feel bullied. However, when someone is mocked...
I just got triggered. That's every conversation a guy's had with his girlfriend. I would never want you to feel jealous. However, I'm going to Cabo with my ladies, and I'm going to look good in my bikini. Okay.
And making fun of someone's mental disabilities, that's crossing the line. And I don't want to surround myself with people like that. So I'm not going to go out of my way to be their best friend. At the end of the day, everything happens for a reason and no hard feelings.
Oh my gosh, my two things I hate the worst. Leave a comment. At the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. But in my opinion, you're the best power recapper the world's ever seen.
However, you knew. And you kept her.
That's my favorite part. It's actually quite adorable. You knew and you kept her. She's playful, and this is why I'm going to let this TikTok slide. Now, normally we go, geez, come on, we're firing shots. You know he can't defend himself. But then again, everyone seems to be against Clayton, and we've had these discussions on my channel where, you know, I wonder, okay, the audience is primarily women, and you kind of can empathize with people easier when you've been in their shoes. So I'm looking at this almost empathizing with Clayton going, oh my gosh, he had no idea these things were existed. And then the women are saying, hello, he certainly did. And the question becomes, to what extent? Now, if I wanted to have if I needed to put a new roof on my house, and I called in 5 contractors, and I had them all line up their price, and then I interviewed them individually, one contractor's going to go like, listen, Jimmy over there, you don't want to go with Jimmy. He's wild. And then Jimmy's going to come at you looking really good. You know, he's got blonde hair, he eats a lot of shrimp, and he's going to be, look, I can put a good roof on your house. Trust me. Clayton's going to go, I trust Jimmy. And then the other person's going to be like, I told you Jimmy was bad news. And he's going to be like, I guess I just was into Jimmy more than you. Do you understand? So while this isn't always a defense for the person, you have to understand, even Lindsay, everybody out there has an ulterior motivation, which is to to continue being on the show. So Clayton trusts nobody. I hope this makes sense. I hope you can understand that I'm not defending Clayton's actions so much as saying he really is flying blind. So even though you tell him somebody's bad news, no offense, Lindsay, you don't have credibility with Clayton. You might have it with your girlfriends and your friends at home, but you don't have it with Clayton because he doesn't know what your motivation is, even if you might have the accurate one. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Anyway, I loved Lindsay's final moment there. You knew. Let's play that one more time.
It's for a reason and no hard feelings. However, you knew. And you kept her.
That's very cute. She's
so
cute.
Tonight
I want Lindsay. I want Lindsay on Bachelor in Paradise. Can we get her? Lindsay Wyndham. I wonder if she's part of the Wyndham family. Hey, Lindsay, let me know if you can hook me up with some Wyndham condo suites when I'm traveling. Lindsay Wyndham over there. If Clayton only knew that you were part of the hotel empire, you're no Hilton. You're no Paris Hilton, but you're a Lindsay Wyndham. That's funny. And there's no offense to you. Oh, if I was on that roast, we would have made a joke about that. Anyway. Okay, so anyway, let's go to some of the things that Clayton had said in his apology that she's calling out. Overall, the experience for me watching hasn't been fun, simply because I'm seeing all the damage that I caused. I really meant well, but my actions weren't the best, as I now can see the repercussions from my decisions. I can promise you I'm learning from the mistake, though, and I'm doing everything in my power to come out the other side a better man. Now, I'm on the side of... And I mentioned this last night on the live stream, which got pretty heated, although I think it was a really good chat. That's why we try to have conversations, folks, because we can learn a lot. But I think they're in this insulated environment where you don't get to perform on episode 1 and then realize how you came off and then alter it for episode 2. No, everything's filmed in a bubble. So like as a comedian, if a joke doesn't work, if I do like a dirty joke and the audience is like, whoa, it's like, okay, let's go into the clean material. If that starts working, all right, more of that. You can adjust on the fly. Clayton doesn't get that, right? He doesn't get to adjust on the fly. So in a several day span, he's taking Shanae's word for it. He's not as quick to understand the red flags as the women are. So he's just not noticing it yet. You know what I mean? And I feel like that really pisses people off. And the only thing that's keeping Clayton afloat is he's just making fun of himself. Haven't taken off the paint for 3 weeks now. And look, when Clayton was introduced as the Bachelor, they did those mean tweets about him on Caitlin Bristow, right? They did it on the after the final rose of Michelle Young's season. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, everyone's being too mean to Clayton. And now everyone's being too mean to Clayton. And it's very interesting to see this dynamic play out because you have almost all of the women, or they must have group chats going on because they're very upset that he kept Shanae around. I would like to venture a guess, though, and it's important for people to remember, no offense to Lindsay Doubletree, but it's no, you know what I mean? You weren't going to win the show. You weren't going to win the show whether or not Shanae stayed or went. It just wasn't going to happen. And we need to remember that. We're having this we're doing these false comparisons. Well, Shanae stole all the time from Elizabeth. We love Elizabeth. No offense. You weren't going to win the show. And guess what? Shanae's probably not going to win the show. This is the part of the show, the middle act. If we look at the show in 3 acts, the first act is the rose ceremony, getting to know everyone, lovey-dovey, sort of pseudo-drama, fake villains like Cassidy. The third act of the show is fantasy suites, hometowns, and the proposal or whatever dumpster fire happens at the end. Second act of the show is this type of stuff. The 2-on-1s, the Chads versus Alexes, the Olivias, the people that just weren't going to be viable contenders. They're on the show to maximize drama. That's what the show's doing. We need to understand that. So it's not like, oh, I feel bad I took time away from the other people. There's plenty of time. They're filming 12, 14 hours a day. They're just showing us the heightened Shanae stuff because that's where the drama is. They all got a chance to talk to him. They all got a chance to prove their case. If he didn't like you, he didn't like you. And it's the same thing we'd say if this was The Bachelorette. If it was Michelle Young versus like the pizza guy, it's like, hey, pizza guy, she just wasn't that into you. So I understand if it sounds a little gripping if I'm coming at you with Clayton being like, hey, Lindsay Wyndham, he just wasn't that into you. I understand, and I know that's not her point. Her point's not, her point that she's making, so I don't want it to sound like I don't understand Lindsay's point. I think she's fantastic here, and I think she has every right to make this video. Her point is, you're saying you wish you had known, and we're telling you we did tell you, it'd be easier for Clayton to say, hey, listen, they all told me, and I was still giving her that shot. It's like if you have a quarterback who keeps throwing interceptions and you're like, come on, we invested a lot of time and energy into this quarterback. We already made out with them. We're attracted to this quarterback. Let's just keep giving them shots. And then you have your third string quarterback being like, what are you talking about? I'm good. And the guy's like, yeah, but I made out with her on top of a bar. You see how I turned a football reference into making out on The Bachelor? You know, it's just the power recapper's job to just throw a lot of symbology at you guys. I'm like the Robert Langdon. Is that his term? I'm like the Da Vinci Code of The Bachelor. No, I'm not. Not at all. This is really, we're more like daytime TV. All right, so we got his answer, and then we have that, and then let's go to some of the comments people are saying. Women Tell All is going to be epic. And then people are upset at Clayton for not having the balls to like tell Shanae, hey, not your time in the group date. Here's a voicemail from Lakeland, Florida.
Oh, hey, Dave, this is Kim from Lakeland, Florida. I just want a bachelor that has the kahunas to tell the party crashers on a group date, you weren't on the date, you didn't win the football game, you need to go back to your apartment. Thanks, love the show. Bye.
Yeah, you know what you need? You need me on set just randomly going,
you cut the crap.
Whenever there's something we don't like. We'll just be like, you know what?
You cut the
we
crap.
don't buy it. All right, folks. Well, I think that's going to do it for me. I'll say this. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, I appreciate everyone that's moved over there. I've got all of my reels. Here's a recent reel. This is me being filmed, being an Instagram husband for Tasha. So there she is doing hers on the left, and that's me filming her on the right. Look at my technique. I've got a bent over. It didn't line up perfectly. But, you know, if you're a guy out there, you need to be in charge of your lady's social media. You need to take control and be the human tripod that we are. And I wanted to give a shout out to a new Patreon member who just joined. Amy Dittmeyer pledged $8. Thank you so much, Amy. We really appreciate you. And for everyone else who's a part of the 200+ members in the Patreon community, we'll have a live stream coming to you for several hours today. So chances are, if you sign up today, you'll be able to catch a live stream and watch the stand-up comedy clip. All right, folks, more content coming the way. Go check out Dave Neal Show if you're all caught up over here. I've got videos happening on that channel. All right, bye, everybody.